Mornings are better when you know your purpose. Have you found yours? Hi, I'm Frances. In this series of Break Time Breakthrough, we'll talk about servant leadership today. Sa work ko, I do a lot of coaching and mentoring. And a comment that's been coming up quite often is, sana alam ko yung life purpose ko. Some share feeling empty, numb, yung iba depressed and anxious. Kasi hindi sila sure if yung ginagawa nila has any value, let alone any meaning. There's this Austrian neurologist, Viktor Frankl. He's also a psychiatrist, a philosopher, an author, and a Holocaust survivor. At the peak of his life, he and his family were sent to the concentration camps. His father died of starvation and pneumonia. His mother and brother died in the gas chambers. And his wife died of typhus. But despite this and the horrific torture and inhumane treatment that he experienced, Victor miraculously survived. And then he did many notable achievements and wrote many books, including one entitled Man's Search for Meaning. He believed that life is not primarily a quest for pleasure or power, but a quest for meaning. He described how some prisoners in the concentration camps died less from lack of food or medicine, but more from lack of hope and lack of something to live for. In a prior episode, we talked about finding our answers to the questions, whose am I and who am I? And pag alam natin that we belong to and are loved by God, we get to understand ano yung importante sa Kanya, and therefore, ano yung importante sa atin. By knowing what's important to Him, we get to see who He truly created us to be. Not who we think we are, no? And definitely not who others say we are. And we get to see hindi yung limitations natin, pero yung gifts natin and our possibilities. When we know this, we can do what matters most. You know, I think in every heart is a hole that we all try to fill with what we think is important. You know, more beauty, more riches, more likes, more followers, more doing, especially. Pero hard as we might try to fill that hole, that emptiness, does it actually ever get filled? And pag merong feeling man tayo ng satisfaction, does that feeling ever stay? Alam mo, I think this hole in our heart is a God-shaped hole. And the things of this world will never truly satisfy our hungry souls because we were made to worship Him for eternity. John Ortberg explains in his book, When the Game is Over, It All Goes Back in the Box, that the object of life, according to Jesus, is breathtakingly simple. It's to be rich towards God. Be rich towards God. And in life, often we think wala tayong time for what really matters, di ba? Sasabihin natin sa sarili natin, pag mas may oras ako, gagawin ko yan. Pag meron na akong panahon, I'll do that. But, I'll do that maybe when I'm older, maybe when I'm retired. There's an old saying, if the devil can't make you bad, he's gonna make you busy. There's also Reverend Sidney Smith who said that the regret for the things we did can be tempered by time. But it is the regret for the things we did not do that's inconsolable. Time, as we know, as we probably experienced over the last 2 years, is a great equalizer. As each of us, no matter kung sino man tayo or kung nasan man tayo, lahat tayo, we only have 24 hours in a day. So where will we choose to give our time? Kanino natin ibibigay yung mga oras natin? There are 2 great commandments, which by the way are built around a single word, love. And in a previous episode, we said that servant leadership is leading the way that Jesus did, serving and loving others. And it all starts with being rich towards God. And being rich towards God begins with giving to God what He desires most of all. What do you think that is? Yep, you got it right. You. All of you. So what if we trusted God with our time? What if we gave Him all of our time? It's taken me more than 3 years to figure out and accept my calling. Alam ko lang that I've always had this desire to make an impact, make a difference. And I hear this a lot as well with other people I speak with. They too want to make a difference. And I asked so many questions in my journey. Is it my purpose kaya to keep growing sa corporate ladder so that I can lead and help more people? Getting promoted sounds like a good idea, di ba? Is it my life purpose kaya to travel the world and discover its beauty? I think I had my fingers crossed on that one. Purpose kaya to get fit and encourage others? Wala na akong excuse not to exercise. Or is it my purpose to acquire more so I wouldn't have to worry about my family's future? Hey, a secure retirement, I'm all for that. Each of these questions may sound valid, but you probably noticed that the motivations of my heart are not quite so. I can only thank God for His grace and mercy because in this journey, He helped me rediscover my love for teaching. And He put a desire in my heart for what's important to Him. His Word, His presence, and the everyday life of people. And suddenly, it clicked. I discovered that my life's calling is to teach about Him in everyday life, or in our world, to teach about Him in everyday leadership. Today, I 100% believe that there's no other way to lead but to lead with Jesus and with love. And I want to teach and mentor others to discovering how they too can bring yung relationship nila with God sa araw-araw. There's an exercise in John Ortberg's book that I want to share with you. You grab some Post-its, and on some, you put the word temporary, and on the others, you put the word eternal. Then you go around your house and put the temporary Post-its on what you know is temporary, diba? Siguro, yung mga gadgets natin, mga TV natin, our homes, our cars, our jobs. And then, you take the eternal Post-its and place it on what you know is eternal. Our spouse, our partners, diba? Our children, the people who follow our leadership. Maybe even put it on a Bible to represent God. Oh, and don't forget to put one on yourself too. On which Post-its do you want to spend your 24 hours? Knowing whose we are helps us define our values, what's important to us. Knowing who we are helps us to discover our strengths, our gifts. And having a true understanding of what is temporary versus eternal will help draw a picture of our future, or more accurately, God's picture of our future. And when we put our values, our gifts, and God's picture of our future together, that, friends, is when we discover our calling. So what about you? Are you ready to discover God's calling on your life and leadership today? I hope you enjoyed the episode today. Don't forget to follow Plus Network on social media channels to get edutaining content and more.